All right. I am so thrilled, Janice, to have you. My first interview. Woo! On My Life's Purpose Coaching. So we're super excited. Janice, kind of tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm a mother of two, grandmother of four, and I've been in real estate since 2001. And prior to that, I was a legal administrator, I was vice president of client services, I was a teacher. So I've had many careers.
Yes, and you're a mentor today.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And you have a real estate business,
Yep.
and you even speak a little Spanish, which is fun.
Very little.
Yes, more than I do, right? So, Janice, over the years, we've been friends for how many years?
Oh, over 10.
Yeah, like a decade of friendship.
Yeah.
Kind of just, one of my values is love, gratitude, and freedom, and like just kind of describe our friendship with each other.
Well, when we first met, we were in different offices, and I would
Yes.
see you at functions, family reunion, and things like that.
Yeah, and the Realtor Foundation.
In the Realtor Foundation and industry events. And then a few years ago, about 6, 7 years ago, I moved to the Carmel office and got to experience your leadership, which was amazing.
Oh my gosh. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So when did you start? Janice has one of the best habits, which is phenomenal. Janice, tell us about this habit.
Every night for a minimum of a half hour, 45 minutes, I do some sketching, some watercolor painting. I started back in 2019, and last night I just checked, 2,318 days of consistent painting every night. So.
Okay, I just got goosebumps. So would you mind to back up and I have an interpretation of why you started that habit from like a healing standpoint and time with yourself, but kind of walk us through what was going on in your life at the time. And if you wouldn't mind.
Okay.
And kind of what was the deciding factor that made you decide to start this habit?
Well, we were on vacation in Florida, and it was raining, and it was cold, and I was not going to sit in a condo and watch CNN for a week.
Good.
So I went to Michael's and thought, what is the hardest thing I could learn how to do that I could carry home? So I came up with watercolor, and so I started, and the first ones were horrible. And so I did that all week long, and I had like 7 or 8, and I was watching videos, and then it's like, I kind of like this. So I decided I would keep on going, and so it started out as my 365-day project.
Oh, okay.
And so after about a month, I was running out of things to paint or illustrate. So I started asking everybody I know for 7 words, and then I would interpret those 7 words. And so they did that for probably a year, maybe more. And then the last year, this year, it's been more of a visual journal of what happens to me during the day, or what I see, or what has impressed me during the daytime. So.
Okay, which is phenomenal. I feel like I was one of the first, and maybe that was just how you make me feel, but I feel like I was one of the first people that you're like 7 words. And then I asked each of my kids for 7 words, right? Like we were trying to like communicate.
I was asking everybody for 7 words.
Everybody. Well, you made me feel like I was one of the first, which is awesome. So you paint, and then you send me a picture of it every night.
Yeah. Sometimes I think I'm really bothering people sending them every night, but
I love it.
I found out when I don't do it, people will say, "Are you okay?"
Yes, 100%. And I even remember, it's really, maybe sometimes it goes to the morning, right? But even when you're taking care of Indy, your husband, I feel like you still got it done. Like, did you go there and paint? Did you go home and paint?
I used to paint early in the morning.
Okay.
Because I'm an early riser, so 5:30 in the morning. And it had to be quiet because I didn't want to wake him up. So I was doing it in the morning. But then when he got really sick, I wanted to sit with him. So, and a lot of times he was sleeping or napping, so I could paint and draw while he was sleeping or taking a nap, and I was there with him. So that's how I evolved to moving to the evening instead of the mornings.
So what has this, how young were you when you started this habit?
2019.
Okay.
I was still old.
No, you're young. You're young, 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 young. So that you're at a different season of your life, and to lean into things that are hard, Janice, and to say, what's the hardest thing that I could learn to do, and then take action consistently. I mean, your work is so phenomenal now. And it just amazes me, that journey. I mean, most people, when they're at a different season of life, they want to stay the same and they want to stay stagnant. And you just like want to be the buffalo, and you want to like do things and experience things, and like you welcome abundance and you welcome hard things because they teach you things. And you're one of the most learning-based people that I know.
Thank you. That's my superpower, is learning, and I love change. That's kind of strange, but I'm in my 13th house, and I like change.
So, what has that habit taught you?
That consistency becomes a habit, because it wasn't a habit at the
Right.
beginning, but I was doing it, and then. With consistency and the habit, now I can't not do it.
Right.
I can't go to sleep without it.
Right.
So,
and that's how you know it's a subconscious habit,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like it's easier for her to do it than to not do it, right?
Right.
So yeah, 2,318 woman. Give me a high five for that. That's awesome. All right. The other day, I think it was about a month ago, actually, you signed up for coaching.
Yep.
And kind of walk us through where your head was before our appointment.
I was really struggling. I had, it's been an evolution the past 3 years. Trying to figure out, do I want to do a business on my own? Do I want to grow a team? People keep telling me I need to retire. So I was going
Who
through.
keeps that? Wait, do not answer that question. What? Like, you retire?
Yeah. So
No.
I was meeting with my financial guy, and I have all these people telling me all these things, and I was not in a good place, because I don't want to retire. I have no reason to retire. I'm enjoying my life immensely. So we had a coaching, and we were going to talk about real estate, and I don't know what you did or how you did it, but you dug down deep and made me realize that I never worried about money in my entire life. I just knew it was going to be there, and if I wanted something, I went after it, and I got it, and I did it. And that past spring, I started worrying about everything, and you shined a light on that, and I had a breakdown.
Yeah, we had a breakdown for a breakthrough.
Yeah.
So for you guys who are listening, like, and I'm with you, right? Like, I'm human and I have breakdowns, and like, what does a breakdown mean? Like, when we talk about I had a breakdown and then I had a breakthrough, what does that look like for you?
Well, you shine that light on what I was worrying about, which I had never worried about before, and why I was doing that. And it helped me figure out that I needed to go back to my real self and
Yes.
worry about people. I love people, and I like helping people. I was a teacher, I was a mentor, real estate agent. So I've always wanted to help people. So it made me push through, forget all that stuff that all these other people were telling me, and go back to my true self, helping people.
Oh
That's
my
the most
gosh.
important thing.
That is the most important thing. And I just got goosebumps and tears at the same time, which is pretty awesome. So what does like for me, a breakdown looks like, crying is from the subconscious.
Oh,
right?
that was ugly crying.
It was, and that's okay. I literally shut the blinds. It was one of those blinds moments where I'm like, we're going to shut these blinds and we're going to go through this breakdown together. And I got the Kleenex out. So breakdowns, like, again, for our listeners and our friends, is a breakdown is really defined. I kind of define it as like either a moment where you feel like you've hit a ceiling, or you start to complain, or you cry, or your breathing changes, like, you have high anxiety or something of the sort. That's what a breakdown is. And here's the most beautiful thing about a breakdown that I just want everybody to really understand at a level. You have to have the breakdowns to get to the daggone breakthrough, right? Like we had to have had ugly cry to be at a position where we wanted and we were open to something different.
And you let all that pent up emotion and frustration, all that stuff let go, and then I could see back into my true self.
Yes. And you know, permission to cry, right? Like men cry, women cry, children cry, young people cry, old people cry. Like it is a universal sign that you're inside your subconscious brain, which is like 99.2 of your thoughts, is signaling to your physical body that something needs to happen, a new thought needs to happen. So I did something that day that I'll never forget, and I'll probably do it more often. But what did I have you, do you remember the exercise that I had you do?
You kept asking deep, probing questions that you wouldn't stop until I answered.
Yeah, we call that, like, from consulting, you know, we call that like the heavy silence, right? So like, let's just practice for just a second. And I'm not going to go super deep. I just want to practice. So like, most people will say, like, what do you want? Most people say, I don't know, right? And the I don't know is just like a film or just like fog, because that's the quick response. And they'll say, I don't know. And then we'll say, like, if you had to guess, or I'll just let them think. And the brain thinks, you guys, when we ask each other questions, if we allow enough space, the brain will come up with answers. And so I asked you, what were your limiting beliefs, or what were the thoughts that you were having that didn't serve you? And so we thought, and you wrote them down,
Yeah.
okay? And you guys, Janice had so much energy and heart and soul with those statements. So she had been thinking these statements over and over and over and over and over again, right? And she had so much like emotion tied to those statements that it was, I mean, I could physically see you. I could physically see it, right? And in my head, I'm like, oh boy, this is more than just writing it down and like tearing it up or throwing it away or something like that. Like we got to go deep. And so we worked on some positive statements on a different sheet of paper. And then do you remember what we did? We took the paper that didn't serve you, and we walked down the cafe. And what did we do?
We lit it on fire.
We lit it on fire, you guys. I mean, here's this like corporate office building. I'm like, holy cow, if this 6th floor of people have to clear out of this building because the smoke alarm goes on, it will be worth it, because I wanted you to be free. I wanted you to be free of those. And just wanding it up or tearing it up or cutting it up and putting it in the garbage wouldn't get it done that day, right?
Yeah.
And so we had to tell those thoughts that weren't serving us well, like, bye, we are burning you up. Mm-hmm. And how did you feel?
I felt great. It lifted all of the stuff that other people have been putting on me for the past couple months. It lifted that, got rid of it, and
Yes.
I went back to being me.
Yeah, which is like abundant and joyful and smiling, and like, you know, it's so beautiful, Janice, that you're like sharing this information with other people, because it's really vulnerable, because you're really good at like showtime. Like when you've got to teach, or I see you in the hallway, like you're real good at like bringing it on and being focused about other people. And what I think had happened over time, like you just said, you know, you allowed other people to like take your spirit, right? And take your energy. And that Monday morning at 9 a.m., we changed all of that.
We did.
Right?
We did.
And
been great.
Yeah, and you can be an example for other people, which is part of your legacy in life, being an example and teaching other people. So what would you, if someone was listening and they were like, oh boy, I'm like Janice, like what would you want them to do?
I think it's hard to get out of your own way.
Yes.
You need to find somebody that can help you work through that. And
Yes.
thank you for being that person, because
Yes.
you just can't do it yourself.
No. There's a great statement. It's like your brain is not great to go at alone, right? Because
It's a scary place.
It's a scary place, right?
Don't go in there alone.
I feel like sometimes, like even my own brain, like I need like caution tape, like caution, you know what I mean? Like road construction. We need some help up in here, right? One thing too, I just want to allow about like, you know, Dr. Brene Brown, she's been a huge influence with your life, I feel like, with my life. And one thing that she has taught me is like stories, and that we all make up stories in our life. And so if we're making up stories, we might as well make it a good one.
Right.
Right? So like, just an example. So sometimes people will say, I'm not good enough. Like that's like a baseline for them thinking that I'm not good enough, or like that's like a go-to baseline for a lot of people, right? And so the sooner that we create a new story, and the first thought we can't control, right? The second thought we can. And the more that we have those new second thoughts or those new stories, then the more our brain, who's the largest muscle in your entire body, you guys, I mean, it is the largest muscle in your entire body.
Yep.
And so we got to work on it, right? I mean, I love good biceps, I love abs, and yet my brain is where it's at, right?
Yep.
And so I've got to come up with ways to create new stories. So the new story would be, you know what? I'm worthy of love. I'm worthy of opportunity. I'm worthy of helping other people. So like I'm worthy is the opposite of I'm not good enough. Would you agree?
Sure.
Right. So like what if I'm really in a bad space, Janice, and like I'm more on the I'm not good enough than I am on like the worthy? Like a believable statement in between there could be what?
I have a lot of them, so I have to figure out which one to say out loud.
Yes.
My favorite go-to is, I got this.
Oh, yeah, you do.
I say that over and over again to myself and to other people. I got this.
I'm going to give you my shirt. I got a shirt that says I got this.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I've kind of edited that one to we got this, right? Because with 3 kids and 3 teenagers, like I'm like, we need all the help. I need all the community to help me. So that's awesome. Anything else you'd want to tell our friends today?
I think when you're in a place where you're questioning, you know, who you are and what you're doing, and you find that other person, allow them to walk you through and do the ugly crying, you know, because I'm not a crier, but it helps release all that pressure and find out who you truly are. And I like who I am, and I stopped listening to what everybody else was telling me. So I had to like close that off and move forward on my own.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. Well, I thank you. I love you. And selfishly, I'm so glad that we had this moment so I can watch it forever and I can lean back on it. It's like, you know, it's like pictures for me now. So I love you. I appreciate you. Oh, one other thing, Zestal.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Oh, I got my Zestal this morning.
Yes, I already had mine.
Okay, good. Are you seeing some good results with the Zestal?
Yeah, I lost 5 pounds.
5 pounds! That's awesome! Woo, woo, woo. I'll put the link in there. I was at the product launch, as you know, in South Carolina, probably about 6 weeks ago. And I'm telling you, like all my friends, I'm just zestaling in the morning and they're all losing weight. And it's really, really fun. There's some sort of like green coffee bean extract that's, for me, the most helpful thing about it, because it's like a appetizer suppressant. So like I'm a crazy wild eater, and yet like I feel like I can't finish a meal, which is amazing. So it's kind of fun. So yay, Zestal. We'll put the link in there for you. That's it. It's a wrap.
Okay.
Yay.
Thank you.
Thank you.